Hey guys, welcome back to OverTakes. This is Misfit.
And I'm Kel.
And we are here with our May Melee preview. We're going to talk about both tournaments on this episode. We're going to talk about that. We have some news, but thanks to everybody out there in YouTube land who has watched our stuff, checked out our videos, checked out our live streams that we do every Sunday night, the Sunday back cap. Everybody out in podcast land, don't worry. I figured out I had an issue with my computer. My anti-malware was running so hard that I couldn't. It kept crashing all of my editing equipment or editing software, so I had to work around some stuff. Everything's good now. I thought it was the RSS feed. It kind of was, but it wasn't. It was the anti-malware thing doing weird shit because, internet and all that and whatever technical crap that I don't really understand, but I got it fixed. So let's dive into this. We had some news and we have an event going on, so we got a little bit of stuff to talk about before we dive into the whole tournament thing.
So we got some big news. Finally, drops are back.
Yes.
Basically, how it's going to work is you have to link your Blizzard or log into your Blizzard account on OverwatchLeague.com, or you can watch it on the app, and it's basically just like got a embedded version of YouTube on there, but by watching it there, they are going to have the league games and you're going to get drops, I believe. So it's going to be 5 tokens per hour watched. And I guess that's going to be cumulative. So like if you watch a half hour and then you watch another half hour later, then you'll get that full hour. It's not just going to be like you have to watch an hour in order to get it.
And wow, I bet you the viewing numbers spike.
Oh, I guarantee there's going to be a spike. The only thing I'm not sure is how it's going to count, like if that's going to count for the actual YouTube views or how that's going to go, but I will be shocked if there's not at least some sort of increase in viewership, especially live viewership.
Yeah, that's
because that's the thing that people constantly talking about, the viewership and all of this, and it's just like people were just watching it whenever because YouTube's VODs are great, and then they can skip all the crap.
Yeah, you can skip all the. You don't have to watch whatever that Legends of Hodor or wherever the fuck that stupid thing is.
That and the whatever other all the different ads or just the blank screen that we get for like we'll return to action in 2.5 minutes.
Ugh, yeah,
any of that kind of stuff. So this will increase the live viewership. I don't think it's gonna have a huge effect overall in viewership. There might be an increase in that, but I think it's really going to be an increase in live viewership for sure. And then I think on top of that, it being a tournament is going to create more viewership this weekend for sure.
Yeah, I think. And with the ads, I'm really over the. Some of you guys are probably T-Mobile people, but if you get Quibi on us or you get something like that, I don't want anyone to Quibi anywhere near me.
Yeah, I don't.
I see that like
give a shit about Quibi.
If you Quibi with us, you get Quibi on us. Yeah. Then you got to do laundry.
Oh god!
Don't roll over in the Quibi spot.
That's some big news. Definitely excited about that. Washington Justice once again have some more releases they have announced. Today they officially released Ballin and Bonnie.
Yeah, and that was Ballin was she was content, wasn't she? Or was she
I believe so.
Yeah, she was a general manager. I don't know why I thought she was a content creator. That's weird. Why they got rid of her, who knows? Well, I'm sure we'll find out in the coming days. Bonnie, I could see he was not necessary. He didn't get any play time. Mm-hmm. Formerly of the Houston Outlaws. But, yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me they got rid of her. I mean, she brought in Janu and Stitch, and they were building a decent enough team. I don't know why it's kind of like a blame thing. It feels like one of those things. Like it's her fault that this is happening. Yeah, it's not her fault that Corey and Stratus didn't want to play anymore. And those are the only two guys at that point that were really any good. She got Arc and Aim God in there. Well, at least Aim God. Because she wasn't the GM last year. They signed her in the offseason last year after they fired the other GM that they tore apart or whatever happened with that whole thing. I forget all of that. That was a whole bunch of drama.
Yeah, it's definitely another questionable move by Washington. Just when you think they do something good, they go and do something like this, and you're just like,
yeah,
what are you guys doing? Like,
and I'm wondering about these organizations if they're starting to get panicky with the COVID thing and the lack of viewership and some of the other stuff, the lack of live viewership and the retirements and some of the negative press and all that, if they're doing the just gutting shit. It kind of feels that way a little bit with some of the teams that like maybe spent more than they should have for mediocre players.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It seemed like they were taking a step in the right direction when they picked up Jonnu and Stitch, too. I mean, even last year in the offseason, seemed like they were going to be better. But, well, I still wouldn't want... We'll get into it later. I don't know if I would want to play them in this tournament, though.
Yeah, I don't know. But now with this, I don't know. It's... In this tournament, that's probably an isolated thing, but I just don't see how this helps them the remainder of the season. I mean, the Twitter reactions, I don't think I've seen anybody be like, good move. Because honestly, it's
She seems like a really good person, too.
Yeah, it's
from,
not
like, the
her
interviews
fault.
and stuff I saw with her.
Like, this is 100%. Like, she was still trying to clean up the mess that the previous GM left. And they started to show some promise here and there. I mean, yeah, you had guys leave for Valorant, but that was completely out of their control. I mean,
and the COVID thing's out of their control too, because
exactly
when those guys were on stage, they were a different team. They're like them in Atlanta. They thrived being in the crowds.
Yes,
and it kind of got taken away from them. Sometimes you gotta, all right, we're not doing well. Our team is better suited for not this right now. So, we're going to have to weather the storm. It'll be okay. It's not your fault that, you have these guys that are big personalities, like being in the crowd. They play well with the crowd, back and forth. Right. They also played better as a team when they were on the stage.
Yeah.
It's not her fault.
I really feel like this is just a panic move for somebody above her to try and save their own ass. And that is never that is just a clear sign that upper management in this
is clueless.
In this organization is just completely clueless. And
we're losing. Get rid of them. But the thing is
oh god, I know that all too well.
Yeah, well, it's a different set of circumstances. It's like, it's in our business, you compare sales to the previous year. There are months like November, for instance. There are some weeks you're like, wow, we're negative comping sales wise on the 22nd of November. Well, last year it just happened to be Thanksgiving week,
right?
Which is the biggest week we have.
Or usually you can account for those things, but the really big thing is this time last year, that day was the day before a giant snowstorm. So the next day it was dead. And,
or we've had, Christmas week where we've gotten 17 inches of snow and we don't make any money.
Exactly.
They look at numbers, but these guys aren't doing the what if factor, or the then but this happened.
Yes.
All right, we're having this with this team, but COVID happened, and we are stuck playing. For the most part, they were playing Philly, Atlanta, all the time. Florida here and there, and a couple other Boston here and there. Actually, not even Boston, because they were on a pretty big losing streak. But do you see what I mean? They're not taking things into consideration. The schedule isn't normal. Nothing is normal. So you can't base... You can, to a degree, but you can't base all the win-loss records on what the hell's going on right now, because it's fucking weird.
Right. And then also, like, the fact that they haven't learned their lesson from last year, firing their GM mid-season, like, it's just, I don't care whether it's esports, whether it's
that's never
professional sports,
unless they do something egregious.
Traditional sports, it doesn't matter. Yeah, like there are so few extenuating circumstances that warrant firing somebody in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you're hot garbage and you're not going to do anything anyway, then get rid of them. It doesn't matter. But Washington has the potential to at least be a mid-table team and go into the play-ins or whatever. You don't get rid of the. I don't know. I don't.
And it feels like the problems that they're having are an overall organizational issue and not just what stems from the GM. It very much is issues that are coming from above.
It feels
the
from
GM.
above. Yeah, it feels like it's from above.
And that's where I take issue with this. It's just like being a Browns fan, I know all too well.
Yeah.
The majority of our problems stem from the very top. It starts with ownership and trickles down.
Well, and it's even teams like other teams like the Dolphins, or like if you look in basketball, the Clippers. Yeah, they have their moments where they're decent, but top down, they're terrible. Like from the top, like the people up in the top.
Well, they were. I mean, the Clippers are a little bit different now, just because they.
I just like.
But yeah, for a long time, they were definitely that way.
Or the Jets, or teams like that.
Yep. Absolutely.
The Mets. Any team in New York besides the Yankees or the Giants. And the Giants recently.
And the Giants the Giants fit into that category in the past 5-6 years.
It's just like, the Knicks, the Rangers.
As their owners become more and more senile.
Yeah. I don't... Senile esports guy with somebody my age.
Yeah, right.
All right, enough about the justice.
Move on, and let's dive into this tournament.
All right.
So starting Friday, we're going to have the qualification is going to be the first game that's going to be played, and that's going to be played between the Toronto Defiant and the Vancouver Titans. So this is going to be a weird tournament because they have it set up to where the teams, the top tier teams or whatever, or the higher seeded teams pick their opponents.
So the first and second round, they're calling it knockouts, quarterfinals. You get to pick your opponent, then semis don't count for the picking. It just, at least as far as I know.
Yeah, I don't think there's any picking for semifinals.
There might be.
There might be. Like whoever's the highest seed gets to pick who they play for the semifinals. But yeah, there's a lot less picking to be done in those. So yeah, we're starting with the qualification round, and that's for the two teams because there's odd numbered teams. Everyone is at least getting a shot to be in the tournament. Yeah. So it's going to be between Toronto and Vancouver, the two worst records for the month of May.
Yeah, and it's similar if you guys pay attention to college basketball. Those two games they play, what's it, on the Tuesday?
Yeah.
It's basically except for last year where 16 seed won. It's the privilege to get the shit beaten out of you by either Kentucky, North Carolina, or a team like that.
Yeah,
Duke.
Exactly.
But yeah, it might not be like that in this league, but
yeah. I mean, the only thing that's going to save that is that they don't have to start by playing a team like San Francisco or Philly. Right. That's really the only thing that's going to save them from that kind of thing. But yeah, it's pretty close. So basically, yeah, Toronto, Vancouver. Let's start with that. Yeah. What are we thinking?
I'm thinking Vancouver is in an unfortunate situation right now. Toronto has to win.
They do.
If they lose this, their season's done.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad right now, but by done, I mean, you're going to see weird shit like, you might see guys starting to retire.
I mean, you might start to see what Washington is going through right now.
Yeah.
You get guys retiring, you get mid-season firings of coaches, GMs, whatever. Because it could get real ugly real quick.
We're kind of at the midpoint of the season. Everyone's like, well, there's a lot of transactions. But lest we forget, in the last couple of years, there's always a lot of transactions around this time.
There are
the transfers and all that. I mean, if they don't win this game, look for it and look for a lot of it.
Yeah,
and that can include, in my opinion, you're going to see guys like even Surefour, Nevix, some of these other guys might be on the block.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's not, it'll just be not working out at this point.
And if they're truly stupid, a guy like Logix.
Yeah. Logix always gets the short of the stick, so it'll probably
he really
be him.
does. Yeah, I would love to see that guy get on a team where he can legitimately compete and have a team around him.
San Francisco's traded for Logix.
Yeah, right.
There's your redemption arc. Goes back to Florida.
Yeah, it's just kind of
Logic. It could be like Logix and the Koreans.
I feel like a good fit for him would not be not a bad fit would be Atlanta.
There's something weird going on there too. I mean, we'll talk about that. I mean, there's going to be news dropping there. Erster's disappeared.
Yeah,
and there's talk of Hacksaw and other stuff.
Edison was visibly frustrated last week, so I would not be surprised if there's some kind of...
They could move Edison. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not working the way they wanted to, and the way we thought it was going to, for sure. They're not bad by any stretch. I think they'll be in the play-ins right now, maybe more, but who knows? If they do well in this tournament, it could totally change my outlook on it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that I don't know.
Out much hope for that, though.
But other than that, we don't have a lot of concrete matches. So let's talk about who we think these teams are going to pick. I'm assuming they're going in numerical order as to best record to worst, starting in the knockout round.
Right. Well, so it looks like in the knockout round, Paris would have first pick of whoever they want to play, and that pool would be the winner of Toronto, Vancouver, Houston, Boston, and Washington.
Houston, Boston, Washington, Toronto, or Vancouver. Who are you picking?
I'd probably go Boston.
Yeah, I would take Boston because they're the best of those, or the worst of those teams.
Yeah,
in my opinion, I would go with Boston. I would have the two teams I would. Well, the one team I would avoid would probably honestly be Houston, or maybe Washington. Just because
I'm 50-50 on Washington.
Yeah,
like
the whole turmoil thing. I might, if I was Atlanta, I might pick them because you could, even if Janu and Stitch were on, you still could handle that.
Yeah.
I mean, Paris could too, but why not take the worst of the bunch?
Exactly.
I would go Boston.
Yeah, the same.
Atlanta, I'd go Toronto or Washington, I think. So
it's surprising to see the Gladiators so low, but I forget that they just had a piss poor May.
Yeah, they did.
Like, they lost some games that they really should not have.
And
I would
have a team that might need Hacksaw.
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to the Gladiators, I feel like they would probably go with I think they would match up better against actually I wouldn't touch Houston.
I would go Toronto or Washington.
Toronto or
whoever's left between Toronto and Washington.
Yeah, I feel like Houston is going to be the team that is going to fall to Dallas. Which actually I think Dallas kind of wants.
Yeah, because I keep feeling this Texas thing. They actually match up. I think Dallas matches up best against Dallas, honestly. Houston, Dallas, yeah, I think that'd be the best match of the bunch. The closest, at least it should be.
Yeah, I think Dallas really could make. They could make a good. They could really do some damage against Houston.
Yeah. I mean, and then you're getting into wild speculation when you get into the next round.
Right.
But we'll go over the pick order.
Yeah.
You have San Francisco, then Florida, future tournament winner, bring the mayhem. Philadelphia at 3, which is hilarious, and then the Valiant at 4.
I know, right? It's so crazy that Philly's at 3.
Yeah. Well, they fixed the thing that was going on with them in Florida, because Florida had a better percentage. They were undefeated in maps.
Mm-hmm.
And Philly had one tie, which threw like a weird wrench. And then they said that Philly had a better regular season record, but they're sitting at 3. So, okay.
So I think it's because they
had a tie.
Philly lost they had. Oh no, they didn't lose a game.
No,
this month. But neither did Florida.
But it's the map differential. Florida was
high,
Florida was 9-0 on maps in the tournament. Philly had 9-0-1.
Right.
So
I think San Francisco just they crushed this month.
They San Francisco'd it.
Yeah.
And now we get to see Twilight.
Yes, we do.
We talked about that on Sunday. That's a solid move for them. They needed a decent Ana player that wasn't a DPS guy, and, well, they got the best one. So, I mean, you might see him, you might not. Don't know. You might see him on specific comps where they want to run Ana for right now, because I believe he's still in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's neither here nor there. They're still going to do whatever they do. I just am interested in seeing who this is where the picking gets fun, though. You don't know if guys are gonna do I'm picking the worst team, or we have a vendetta against, they beat us, whatever. Philly might pick Paris if Paris wins, just to say, you know what, let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see
we're gonna show you once and for all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just gets into too much wild speculation. But overall,
who do you like? Who do you think's going to win?
Yeah,
overall, all the way to the end.
I think out of the North American region, man, it's a toss-up between San Francisco and Philly. I'm gonna go Philly.
I'm gonna go.
I think that Philly is gonna go for they're just going to do just enough, and San Francisco's they're going to like just run roughshod until the finals, and then they're going to kind of underestimate Philly.
Yeah, that could happen. I'm taking San Francisco.
Fair.
I'm taking them for the simple fact that they can run whatever they want, and they have the players to run whatever they want.
Right.
Right now, I still think.
Well, I believe this tournament lasts 2 weeks, correct? Doesn't it go through next week as well?
I believe we get we'll get the qualifiers on Saturday, because they don't have it listed on the schedule itself, and it doesn't have dates on when they're playing these games. Because maybe it came to bite them in the ass earlier with the COVID thing going on. Just losing matches here and there, like we can't play, so they just took the dates off. I don't know when they decided to do this. Like, don't put dates on it because something weird could happen. We don't know. But I'm pretty sure the qualifiers and the knockouts are on Friday and the quarterfinals are on Saturday. They might run the semis on Sunday, so you got to play 2 minutes. I'm not 100% on that. We're back. We had a little technical difficulty. So what we didn't realize was, and it was deeper in the news, I guess, with the whole tournament's this weekend. So I thought the semis would be next weekend and the finals, but we got serious amounts of Overwatch League this weekend too.
Yes, we do.
My bad on not figuring that out ahead of time. But yeah,
I feel like I remember them saying something about it being 2 I
thought it was 2 weeks, but per the site, it's Friday is Madness with the the knockouts and the one match between Toronto and what do you call it? Vancouver. And then Saturday is quarters.
Saturday's going to be the quarterfinals. And then Sunday afternoon will be. I'm assuming it's going to start around the same time, 1 o'clock on Sunday.
So they're running it much like every other esports tournament. It's a whole weekend.
Yeah.
Nut up or shut up. You might have to play 5 games.
Right, and then the Asian ones are going. The Asian region tournament is going to start on Saturday, and then semifinals and finals are going to be on.
Because they have half the teams, so.
Right.
Speaking of the Asian tournament, let's move to that now. To obviously a smaller tournament, we have seeding wise, we have Guangzhou, Shanghai, New York, Hangzhou, London, Chengdu, London, and then the bottom seed, the Seoul Dynasty. Guangzhou gets a bye because obviously there's only 7 teams in the bracket.
Right.
So they will be playing the winner of, and the matches go 4-7. Your normal tournament seeding.
Yeah.
There's no picking.
This one, there's no picking or anything like that. It's just going to be normal seeding. So in the semis, Guangzhou will face the winner of Hangzhou Seoul, and then the next one will be the winner of New York and Chengdu versus the winner of Shanghai and London. At
least with this one, we can kind of. The last time I say anything about people having audio issues is.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so we can at least talk about the quarters in this tournament. So let's go first, like the 2 seed match, the 3 seed match, and then the 4 seed match. Then we'll do a little, what we think is going to happen kind of thing. So we have Shanghai taking on London. I don't see much different in this thing.
This is going to be a bloodbath, right?
Yeah. I don't, and this is much like I said with San Francisco. Shanghai doesn't have any limitations. They can play whatever they want.
They really can.
And they actually can play whatever they want. So, yeah, you got to go Shanghai in this one. Next match, you got Chengdu, New York, which you've had 2 3-0s.
It should be New York crushing Chengdu.
But
I think probably this is worst case scenario for Chengdu, because I really think that Chengdu has literally beat every other team in this tournament.
New York is just better. I'm sure they're going to get... I don't think they're going to sweep them necessarily, because Chengdu can do what Chengdu does do.
I see what happened. I think we confused Guangzhou with Chengdu, because Guangzhou
that's right.
in New York.
I mean, maybe Guangzhou is the number 1 seed, because once we got off their bandwagon, they started winning again. I mean, who knows?
And this month, they are undefeated in the month of May.
And as much as I've been, riding my team, you can't give them the total... Well, they played crap teams. They did beat New York. I'll give them that.
They did. Did they beat Shanghai at some point too?
No, they beat Seoul. Shanghai's got 2 losses. They got 3-0'd by Chengdu and they lost to Seoul.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't play Shanghai at all this month, surprisingly.
Yeah, that's weird. Somehow really I think they may meet again. Possibly. That match, you got to go New York. Next match, you got Hangzhou Seoul, which is the 2 weirdest teams in the whole fucking bracket.
It really is.
This could go so many directions. It's
this could end up being a phenomenal game if both teams show up. It could, but then you could also run into a scenario where one or neither of them show up.
Yeah.
And then it just turns into a clown fiesta.
Yeah.
This could be anywhere from an all-time classic to a clown fiesta. That is the range of game we could see with this.
A 7-map clown fiesta in the making. But
that is a distinct possibility in this game.
And the thing is they can run both. The thing is, Seoul can do their thing. Someone I was listening to Push Point, and Howler actually pointed out he's like Seoul only can play with an Orisa, because I'm kind of paraphrasing. What did he say? He said the halts. It's like this beacon that they are drawn to. if there's no hall, if there's no hall, everyone's trying to make hero plays. It's like, oh, we have to go there. That was the best point I've heard about Soul's play.
That's pretty brilliant.
And it's spot on.
It really is. Holy crap.
I don't know who to pick in this. Who would you, I mean...
I don't know. I
mean, this is a coin flipper.
Probably go with Soul.
But
I think it's early enough in a tournament to where they actually...
Right.
And I think they come into this game and they have
really
no
handcuffs
for this game specifically, so they can just.
And they have no handcuffs, so if they need a bailout, Prophet can go on Tracer or whatever. Right. I'd have to go with Soul, I think.
But it's way more complicated than I ever would have figured it would be, but it doesn't matter because Shanghai's going to win it all.
Yeah. Well, we also came up with the worst case viewing scenario, and that's all the Chinese teams playing each other.
Yeah. Oh god.
Like it was for 4 weeks in a row.
Where it's just Guangzhou, Hangzhou playing each other, then Chengdu, Shanghai, and then the finals is probably Guangzhou, Shanghai.
Yeah.
That is the nightmare scenario.
Yeah, it is.
Also a distinct possibility.
Yeah, because we know how New York is in pressure situations.
Yeah. The one...
I think they can handle...
New York does know how to show up in mid-season tournaments. So that's the one hope that they have. It's when it gets to the big final prize that they fall short.
Yeah. They could very well beat Shanghai. They could beat Shanghai and then lose to Guangzhou or Seoul. Yeah. Or Hangzhou.
That is also a very distinct possibility. I'm still taking Shanghai to win it all, but honestly, I don't think there's really any scenario I could see other than really the only one I don't see happening in any way, shape, or form is London moving past the first round.
Yeah, me too.
But anything else is probably have some percentage of viability.
And it's gonna be the normal weekend now. You wake up and you're like, what the fuck is going on with the world?
Yeah, exactly.
What am I... New York lost to Chengdu? What the fuck? That's
Not only did they lose, they got
3-0'd.
Yeah.
I gotta pick Shanghai to win. I don't know what's going to happen otherwise. Guangzhou's good. They're really rolling right now, actually. Sorry, Charge fans, the 3 of you that are out there, because I'm talking good about your team. But who knows? Seoul could just decide to show up because they can play fucking Cow Lady.
Right. That's really their best shot.
Jester's gone from the best tank in the league to a Narissa one-trick. Oh,
poor Gesture.
Yeah, he's still got the best dance moves in the league, though. Does that count for anything?
I mean, it's gotta count for something.
Yeah, who knows? You know how those London guys are. You get them in a tournament, though.
Mm-hmm.
Except for last year. Never mind.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. Wow, this tournament's going to be weird and fun, and I think both of them are going to be fun. I know a lot of people didn't want the stage tournaments. This I'm down with because it's kind of a replacement for that. Lest we forget that we were supposed to have a mid-season tournament, but it was only going to be 4 teams. Was it 4 or 6 teams? Top 6 teams.
Top
battle
6
it out.
teams.
Yeah, but we got a bigger tournament because there's nothing else going on. I'm not going to have an all-star game because you can't get everybody together into the same building. So, it's going to be fun, but I think that's going to do it. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for our preview episode. Normally, we would have a pick show with the odds and all that, but nobody has odds up for futures for the entire tournament, which I feel is kind of weird. It's somewhat understandable from a book standpoint right now because you don't have any variables that would lead you away from certain teams where you're going to get the majority of your money is going to be on Shanghai for that tournament, like almost all of it, I would say. You'd get a little New York money, probably. And they meet in the semis, so that counts that out. And then in the NA tournament, 90% of your money is going to be thrown onto filling in San Francisco. So the probabilities of them making money on the whole tournament is less than if they do it by an individual game basis. So they probably just didn't deal with it. Mm-hmm. But it would have been nice to see that because we wanted to talk a lot about that. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. And they don't have any odds for the games in NA or Asia quite yet because I think because the normal... I mean, this is a weird thing. Plus, you might not get NA numbers anyway because you're going on the spot. You'd have to really keep your eye on the book because you got matches on Saturday. You might get the first matches on Sunday.
My guess is like Sunday we might like Saturday night we'll probably get some numbers.
Saturday morning you might get numbers too once you get past the rounds. Keep an eye out though. You never know. I mean, obviously if you're in Vegas and you can bet on esports, so you can bet on the Overwatch League. I'm sure they're gonna have stuff up. You just have to be there.
Yeah.
Like on the spot. Because you know how, I mean, these schedules, you can't mess around. Because you get a couple of 3-0s and all of a sudden you're 2 hours early. So that's going to do it for this episode. And thanks for being with us through the little technical difficulty there. Obviously, we cut the gap time up. We had to go to Battle.net, of all places, to record the rest of this. So
Discord went down as we were in the middle of recording. So that was fun.
So.
And apparently it's back up already. So
okay.
Good on them.
Yay them.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that's going to do it. Everybody out on YouTube, thank you very much for watching, all the likes, subscribes, all the stuff you guys have been doing for us. Definitely comment down below who you think is going to win in these tournaments. You know, where do you think teams are going to get picked and all that kind of stuff. You know, let's get this conversation going. Everybody out in podcast land, thank you very much. I fixed all my problems with uploading and all that. I promise you everything will be up consistently from now on, now that I've gotten all that stuff taken care of. And we appreciate everything you guys have done for us as well. Also, if you're on iTunes, please give us a review. On anything else, give us, however they do any kind of star system reviews, likes, any of that kind of stuff. That would be fantastic. We'd love it. All right, guys, we will talk to you next time we see you guys is going to be Sunday night on the Bandcamp. Possibly time difference. We will see what time the finals are.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Asian one will be done.
Yes, that will be done.
I'm assuming there's going to be 3 matches.
When the finals go, we might start streaming during the finals.
Yeah, which we'll do a little in-game watching. It depends on what time it starts. There's only going to be 3 matches, so it's probably going to be like a normal Sunday as far as the schedule goes. Might get a little bit longer of a gap in between the games. Like the first 2 games and then the final. To expect us in a normal time we've been doing lately, somewhere around between 8 and 9. And then we will talk to you guys later.
Catch you guys in the next one. Later.